Hello, I'm happy to have the opportunity to go after Oneness Sankar because I'm sure you'll be tuning me out by now, still thinking over all of her deep and profound words there. I'm from the US. I've been in the UK in Harlesden pretty much for about 7 or 8 years. And yeah, I'm going to read three short poems because I figure, you probably won't like one or two of them, so maybe one of them will be interesting to you at least out of the three. So I'll do shorter ones. And my wife said I'm not allowed to read the one in Arabic. It's an English Arabic one, so I don't know if anybody speaks Arabic here, but yeah, all right. Well, maybe we'll be allowed to do that. I don't know. But we'll start with yeah, a poem called Sempiternity Preternatural. I was just going to introduce these all by saying I kind of I like words and I like language, and I kind of like to hide behind words, really. So sometimes I use words that aren't really words, maybe. And sometimes I borrow words between different languages, and yeah, that might, explain anything that doesn't actually make sense. Um, this is Sempiternity Preternatural. The goose that laid the golden calf, the life that gave the legless laugh, wooden and hollow, like a mechanical Turk, playing chess in the parlors of the decaying aristocracy, wooden and hollow, like the peg leg of a charlatan circling the seas, Ouroboros, Ouroboros, Quercus ruberus, vitae, aqua, lignum, curriculum, water, wood, and work, the pith of life, the kiss of death, smeared across the face, baton rouge, lèvres, the levity of a painted countenance, counting 1, 2, 3. No, start with 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Carrying on over the horizon, counting like Gatsby's painted face, bottled and sold by L'Oreal for £9.99. The second poem is called Bucolic. As I'm sure many of you have done, I wrote this on a stag do after. This is sort of the morning after everyone was a bit hungover, and I just, for some reason, woke up and was in the middle of some countryside that I didn't recognize. A thick stone wall of a height that meets out truth in the cold morning, an arbiter of sheep, topsy-turvy below the horizon, in rows of uneven molars, defended by deciduous tritons, flanked again by the heave of earth beyond, and rustling before, the molehill, an impatient crumbling, giving birth to further impatience. What shriek of truth, waiting for the earth, worming to the roof, breathing mirth. Thanks. And the final poem is the infamous bilingual poem. I lived for a little while in Sudan, and my first degree was in Arabic. So I tried to write a poem about Khartoum. I recently went back to visit there, and the word Khartoum means hose, literally like a fire hose. It's funny because Khartoum is the city, you've all heard of it, but when you go to an Arabic-speaking country, you're like passing a fire exit, it says Khartoum. And it's like really weird because, it's also the name of a city. So this poem is about the Nile, essentially, which is one of the reasons why Khartoum has that name. And one of the reasons I wanted to read it tonight is because Brent is such an international borough, council, whatever. And actually, I would love it if the next time we have this, we have people reading poems in lots of different languages, because I know there are a lot of Arabic-speaking poets all over the borough. And after my first attempt at sort of writing this in Arabic, I actually got some help from a couple Arabic-speaking friends, including a Sudanese Arabic poet that lives not far from here, who's actually come to the UK as a refugee because he's quite outspoken against the regime in Sudan. Yeah, so I'll just read this. The fire hose, filling, creeping like a snake, emptying Mediterranean hopes through Egyptian promises. Or perhaps the opposite, emptying Mediterranean promises through Egyptian hopes. Or perhaps simply empty Egyptian promises. The tube is full, rushing with the weight of expectation, and with headless chicken folly thrashes spurting venom. Empty Egyptian promises, or perhaps the opposite, a full dose of reality, inoculating against idealism, or perhaps simply willful aimlessness. The spigot sprays streams left and then right, swinging in an arc of life, irrigating the future hope. From one Nile, many rivers. From one movement, many changes. From one snake, many poisons. And from one fire hose, many expectations. Realized but not realized. Longed for but not for long. Attained and tainted. Thanks.